to be one of the best receiving corps in the entire NFL. When you think about Cooks only in his third year, Snead in his second year, Thomas a rookie, and those three guys potentially could play together for years, for a decade, maybe even, depending on, health and that type of thing, and how the team evolves over the years if they have a change in coaching staff or scheme or whatever. But just the fact that those guys are all close together in age and potentially could be together as a trio. And Fleener's only 27, so they like he's some old guy. So, I mean, you're talking about an offense in place as far as at the skill positions that, this team could be set for years, if they stay healthy. So, the problem, of course, and I'm sure we'll touch on it later, is that the quarterback is not going to be around forever. And so if they don't have anybody to throw them the ball in another 3 or 4 years, it's going to be kind of a moot point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I tell you what, man, I'm really excited about what I saw from Thomas, and I'm excited about the possibility of what he can contribute to the New Orleans Saints, provided that these guys stay healthy. And I am excited what the little guy Lewis brings to the table. Professor, I told you about 2 of his catches in the game, man. I was really impressed what this young kid can do. Okay, Professor, we lost him for a quick sec.
Well, if you want, I could just touch Lewis real quick, which is just,
Can you hear me, Kyle?
I can hear you now.
There he is.
Yeah, when you hear that pause, that's because I'm hitting that mute switch. I don't want the noise in this office to distract from the show. Lewis has got to make the team. If he has another great game, Brandon Coleman is not doing well, and I just really wish this coach would stop trying to make things work that don't work. Okay, we saw this with Chris Ivory. We saw this with other people when you losing people because you're trying to make something work because you don't want to have egg on your face. The Brandon Coleman experiment is over with. Unless he really significantly improves, as Barry, I think Dad said, in games 2 and 3, you're going to have to go with the best 5 wide receivers, which at this point is the young man Lewis, Tommy Lee Lewis, and Jared Dangerfield. They've outplayed him, and this guy, they have to find a place for him on this team. If Sean Payton, if this young man goes out and play another great game, and Sean Payton gets rid of Tommy Lee Lewis, then I really question why this man is coaching. Because obviously you cannot evaluate talent. I'm being very honest. I'm being very frank here. Y'all know I don't sugarcoat stuff. Because I have seen the Saints do this. And this is what I've been saying. I have been saying this over and over again. This team let Darren Sproles go. They thought, Max Unger is a good center. And Jimmy Graham thinks, different system, not so great. But you cannot make this same mistake again now, with this gentleman, Tommy Lee Lewis. This man has made some outstanding catches. He is a lightning bolt. He has the propensity to make plays, something the Saints desperately need back in their offense. He's a playmaker, Marcus Murphy. You cannot give up on people when they're young. Marcus Murphy may fumble, or even Lewis may fumble. They're young. But these 2 young men, small in stature, but big in their play, you cannot get rid of playmakers on this team, and they're outshining all of these other players, and you decide that I'm going to keep the Brandon Coleman project alive, or what have you, or the C.J. Spillers project alive. And these 2 guys have outplayed Spillers, and they've outshined also Coleman.
Okay. Well, you heard it from the professor. Coach is not a coach if he keeps Coleman on the squad. All right, guys, let's kind of change up a little bit. But before we do, we've got to talk about the quarterback situation. I'm kind of leave this open. I want to hear your thoughts from every one of you guys. Grayson played. In my opinion, I think Grayson outplayed Luke McCown, to be honest with you, right? Of course, that first pass was kind of shady, but Luke McCown made some very, very, very ill-advised passes in that game, Coach.
Yes, he did. And even though McCown can throw the ball better, I mean, there's no question that his arm is more alive and he can really zing the ball down the field. Ultimately, Luke McCown has a tendency to be Luke McCown, which means turning the ball over in critical situations. Through an interception in the red zone, that was a very poor decision, and his fumble was just absolutely uncalled for. Wasn't blindsided by the hit. Knew the pass rusher was coming there. Sometimes you just got to dig a hole and take a dive and give up on the play. He tried to make something out of nothing and gave the Patriots a touchdown. Grayson made a poor decision on the first throw, and I've got a detailed look at that. I'm putting some notes together on that. Got a frame-by-frame look at it. And he made a mistake in reading coverage. It looked like it was a cover 2 look, and actually the Patriots, after the snap of the ball, rotated into a cover 3. He should have been looking left to where a cover 3 route was being developed there. Instead, he looked to the right, thought he had some open grass, and then tried to squeeze it in, overthrew the ball, got it up high, and Coleman didn't bail him out. Coleman had a chance to bail him out, but I've got a, it's not the clearest shot in the world, but I've got a shot that he's making a business decision, reaching up with one hand, knowing that he's got a chance of getting hit, and tipped the ball to the guy that wasn't even covering him. Jamie Collins had actually moved to the inside with Brandon Cooks, who was running a shallow cross in the other direction, tips it to a player who's not even covering him. So he admitted it. Grayson admitted his mistake, that he misread the coverage, threw it to a route that you would run against man or cover 2, and it turned out to be cover 3. From that point after that, though he made some good decisions. Arm strength is somewhat questionable. I don't know if it's that he can't throw the ball hard or that he's just trying to be precise and isn't really turning the ball loose. So you do notice that there's not a whole lot of zip on the ball. But if he's consistent in getting the ball out on time, learning from his poor decisions here in the preseason, even though he's not as good a quarterback as Luke McCown, he's got a chance to overtake him as the number 2 quarterback.
Now, he did make a couple of pretty nice throws to Thomas.
Yes, and Thomas made some very good catches on them as well. One of them on the sideline was put in a good place, even though Grayson was getting hit as he was throwing the ball, and the ball wound up still where Thomas could make the catch, and then the other one on the right side on the sideline going in the other direction, where he was able to really lay out and make a great catch, even though he was being interfered with. So his decision-making after that first one was pretty solid. And if he could continue to do that through preseason, Peyton is going to have to make a decision. You know, if somebody's got to go in and finish a game or go through a game, do I want the guy that's going to make good decisions and not turn the ball over, or do I want the guy that perhaps can make better plays? Remember last year when Luke McCown started against Carolina, did an excellent job throughout the game.
Right.
Had the game won.
Yeah.
Until he got greedy, and instead of throwing to an uncovered Marcus Colston, tried to throw the ball over the best corner in the league to Brandon Cooks, and the interception changed the game. When I say Luke McCown sometimes turns into Luke McCown, there's a perfect example of against Carolina. We saw 2 illustrations of that last Thursday as well.
Yeah, well, you always say the McCown brothers are gunslingers. So
the turnover's waiting to happen.
Turnover is waiting to happen. Wow. Man. So, Barry, I don't want to belabor the point, but going into the Texans game, are you kind of concurring with Coach there? If McCown has a subpar game and Grayson shows a little consistency or improvement. It's bubble time for Mr. McCown.
Could be, absolutely. I totally agree. And here's another additional angle to consider, which is the Saints very badly want Garrett Grayson to succeed, so they can get guys like me off their case who are questioning, Grayson's future in the NFL. I too was impressed by Grayson as we belabored the point, the opening play, his opening pass or whatever, first play from scrimmage when he was took over quarterback was obviously questionable. His coach broke it down in great detail, and as Coach alluded to, he did great afterwards. I've been questioning this kid, ever since OTAs when he, coming into OTAs, and it's hard to evaluate guys when they're in t-shirts and shorts, it's not really doing them any justice. So, and being out of state and not having press credentials, sometimes I have to rely on a lot of secondhand information. I don't have the privilege of seeing it firsthand, so I can only go off of what I'm reading and the reports I'm getting. But it seemed like he was struggling very bad in OTAs and specifically in minicamp, where he really, really just looked outright horrible at times. In camp, he's had a mixed camp. He's looked good at times. He's actually been praised a few times, and then other times he's kind of So, but to me, there's no question this organization wants this kid to succeed, because look, if he doesn't, then they got to go back to square one. I mean, obviously, you heard Coach describe McCown's not the guy. I mean, he could play in a pinch like he did last year against Carolina. That's the only reason he's even still on the roster, is because Peyton likes his experience. I mean, the guy's 33, 34 years old, so I mean, he likes the NFL experience. But that's about the only thing McCown's got going for him. I agree with Coach. He's no Danny White behind Roger Staubach. He's not Vince Ferragamo behind Pat Hayden type of guy. He's nothing like that. So, right. Man, look, the Saints are hoping and praying that Garrett Grayson can take this next step. I'm rooting for the kid. I want him to. I know a lot of people think I'm down on him, and I have written quite a lot about him. I wrote about it again this morning in my article this morning, and I just was trying to explain to the readers that, hey, I've seen a lot of NFL quarterbacks, since I started following the sport. Now I've covered it for a living since the early 1970s. And believe me, I've seen a lot of NFL quarterbacks come and go. And just in my opinion, I'm just not impressed by what I've seen. You've got guys that came into the league last year that are starting already. A Marcus Mariota, a Jameis Winston, guys like that. Now, I totally get that these guys are considered quote unquote better quarterbacks than Grayson is, and or further along, I guess, in their development or whatever. That they could come in and start immediately, and he can't. But that's neither here or there. The bottom line is, as far as the Saints are concerned, is can this kid develop over time and become a legitimate starting caliber quarterback? He doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to be the next Drew Brees, because, quite frankly, who is the next Drew Brees, right? But what he has to do is he has to be good enough to win games in the NFL. He's got to be at least Nick Foles good. He's got to be at least Blaine Gabbert good, okay? And right now, he's not even Blaine Gabbert good, okay? So
oh, wow.
Well, I'm just being honest. Right now, does that mean he'll never be better than Blaine Gabbert? No, I'm not saying that. Guy. I'm just saying right now, I don't know if Coach will agree with me or not, but right now, he's not even Blaine Gabbert good. Can he become a solid quarterback, or maybe even a good quarterback someday? Sure he can. But, he's only in his second year. And we know in the NFL some players develop quicker than others. That's just a way of life in the NFL. Some guys, the light doesn't go off to year 3, year 4 even, and then other guys can walk in and play from day one. So it varies. It varies by position. It varies by the player. It varies, by the situation.